All right, what's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. We are doing Tipsy Tuesday, and tonight, our topic, we are going to be discussing 50 Cent's book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. So, after reading this autobiography of 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, I definitely have a new respect for him as a businessman. Like, I always knew that he was a good businessman, but I definitely have a new appreciation for him as a businessman. So, we are going to be talking about some of my takeaways that I got and things that you can apply to your life just from his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. Before I get started, I got to just do a quick check of my social media accounts, make sure we are good on all ends. So, let me do that really, really quickly. And then we are going to get into it. I'm good there. And let me check one other spot. If you have read the book, let me know as well. I am curious to hear what your thoughts are also about his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. All right, we are good on all ends. All right, so we are going to get into it. I do have a couple of church announcements. And also, if you are new to Tipsy Tuesday, basically what we do is every Tuesday I go live on my YouTube and my Facebook channel, and we take some sips as I share some tips. Tonight I am drinking on water, nothing special. Y'all see, I don't even have my little cup. Just had to grab a bottle on today. We also have a Tipsy Tuesday theme song, which I have been neglecting to do for the past few weeks. So I think it's only apropos, since we are going to be talking about a rapper. I definitely have to do my little Tipsy Tuesday song. All right, so let's go ahead and get into that, and then I'm going to share the church announcements. All right, here we go. Tipsy Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday, get your tips and pass the dues. Say Tipsy Tuesday. Now, I usually say once you hear that song, that is your official welcome and introduction into Tipsy Tuesday. So go ahead, get comfortable as we sit back and get into stuff. Couple of church announcements. Now, if you had tuned in on last week, I was sharing my entrepreneur tips. And I told you that this week I was going to be discussing the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That is going to be our next series, where I'm taking some of the highlights from that book. And that book is chock full of very, very good information to help you with your finances. So I know I said we were going to start that this week. It will actually start next week, okay? Because after I finished reading his book probably last Tuesday or so. And I was like, this would be really good to talk about. His 50 Cent's book, which should be really good to talk about before we get into I Will Teach You to Be Rich, because we're going to be in that for a few weeks, okay? So just know that is coming, where I'm going to have some Tipsy Tuesdays where we're getting some financial advice, okay? So that is coming. So be sure to tune in next week for that. Also, guess what is coming up, y'all? It's time for Side Hustle Saturday. Side Hustle Saturday. Ooh, it's Saturday. So I am going to be doing a Side Hustle Saturday this coming Saturday. I have not decided on a topic. I have about 2 or 3 that I have been thinking about. But if you have something specific that you would like me to talk about for Side Hustle Saturday, let me know in the comments, or let me know in the comments of this video. I'll check this video. I'm not going to say I'm going to check the inbox if you send me an email or whatever. Let me know in the comments of this video if there's something in particular you want to hear about from Side Hustle Saturday, and I will consider doing that topic. Otherwise, I'm going to figure out which one out of the 3 that I have so far that we are going to do. Okay. So that concludes your church announcements. Please govern yourselves accordingly. All right. And also, y'all, make sure you like and subscribe, share this content with people. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so, because y'all know I am trying to grow my channel. Thank you so much to everyone who has shown support so far. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this book. All right, so really quick, I guess you could say I've kind of been on an autobiography kick. I have read a whole bunch of autobiographies. Well, it seems like a lot. I've read several autobiographies this month. So I read Will Smith's autobiography, which if y'all have not read his autobiography, and I highly recommend for you to get the audiobook, because you really need to listen to that book. You really need to listen to the book. You don't need to read it. You need to listen to it. If you're not listening to it, you're going to miss out. So I love Will Smith's autobiography. And his is actually one of the autobiographies that I would listen to again. Like, there are not too many autobiographies that I would want to listen to again. His is one, as well as any of Kevin Hart's autobiographies. I love him. I would listen to his again, just to have, because Kevin Hart is stupid and he gonna make you laugh. But Will Smith is hands down the best audiobook that I have ever listened to. So if you have not checked out his autobiography, definitely, despite whatever you feel about Will Smith, that boy know what he doing. Okay. Check out his autobiography. So I did Will Smith's, Whoopi Goldberg's, 50 Cent, of course, and Viola Davis. I did hers was really good as well. So I recently finished her. So, and I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. So, yeah, so I've listened to all of those pretty recently. And side note, if y'all have any suggestions of autobiographies that I should check out, or any book suggestions that I should check out, let me know. Y'all know I am big on reading and trying to hit my reading goal or whatever. All right. So nevertheless, I decided to do, like, 50 Cent was not really on my radar. I decided to read his autobiography because he is going to be at InvestFest next month. I don't know if y'all have heard of InvestFest, but shout out to EYL, which stands for Earn Your Leisure. They have a whole network on YouTube. They are most known, well, I won't say most known. I pretty much follow them for their Market Mondays. So every Monday night at 8 p.m., they give you stock market tips and things of that nature. If you have not checked out EYL, Earn Your Leisure, you should definitely follow them on YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Definitely on YouTube, so you can see all of their content. But once a year in Atlanta, they have what's called InvestFest. And each year they have like a keynote speaker who is giving like tips. And to this year's keynote is going to be 50 Cent. And it's not like he's going to be performing. He is going to be talking about, his business strategies. They're talking to him as a businessman, how he was able to achieve his level of success. So I will be attending InvestFest along with my kids. So I was like, let me find out, a little bit more about 50 Cent, other than, like, I know him for his music. I know him for his like television stuff, that kind of thing. But I don't, I hadn't really gotten to the backstory. So that is why I was like, let me check out his autobiography. So that's why I kind of got into it. And I knew, like I said, I knew he was a good businessman, but this book has definitely given me a new appreciation for him regarding that. So that is what we are going to get into today. So I'm looking at my notes, y'all. I got my notes here, and I also have my notes on my phone. Let me go ahead and pull it up on my phone too, just so I can have. If y'all are I would highly recommend for y'all also to go to InvestFest if you can. It is next month at the end of August. I can't remember the exact dates, but it is just a good environment to be in. People doing, and companies and small businesses, entrepreneurs, everybody's kind of like-minded about investing, trying to say investing and investment at the same time. Investing, business ownership, Black empowerment, that kind of stuff, economic development. It's just a good space to be in. So if you are able to attend, I highly recommend you attend InvestFest. All right. So I have my notes here on my phone. So we are going to get started. Now, like I shared last week, the last 3 weeks, we were talking about the traits of an entrepreneur. If you have not checked that out, check it out, because y'all, this was so affirming to me, because a lot of the y'all know I created the list of the traits probably like 3 weeks ago. I just finished reading 50 Cent's book last week or whatever. So I had already had my list of traits for entrepreneurs. What he highlighted in his book, a lot of the things he highlighted were the traits that I had listed that you need to have as an entrepreneur. So it was very affirming to me that I am on the right track, because success leaves clues. So I'm following in the right direction. But some of the things we talked about last week, we talked about self-discipline, self-awareness, and just being intelligent, and his level of discipline, which we are going to get into, and his just self-awareness and his just intelligence. Like I said, this is what has helped me to have a new appreciation for me. And nothing is more attractive to me than someone, I should say someone. For me, nothing is more attractive to me than a man who has intelligence. And not only does he have like the street smarts, he also has the business smarts, the business savvy, that kind of thing. That is attractive to me. And y'all, I'm not physically attracted to 50 Cent, but I am attracted to his business mind. Okay. So that really is what helped me have a better appreciation for him as a whole, just hearing his perspective on different things, and opening my eyes up to different things as well. So there were a couple of parallels too. I told y'all Will Smith's book is like hands down my favorite audiobook that I've listened to. Will Smith is also very successful. And there were some parallels that I saw from Will Smith's book as well as in 50 Cent's book. And like I just said, success leaves clues. So if you have these people who are super successful, wealthy, doing well for themselves, if they are saying some of the same things, you should definitely be paying attention to the information that they are giving, the perspective that they are sharing with people, because this is how they were able to achieve their levels of success. And I know you look at it like Will Smith's book. I'm telling y'all, Will Smith's book and 50 Cent's book it's like night and day. I will say this. It's like night and day. And coming from reading or listening to Will Smith's book to listening to 50 Cent's book, it's a stark difference. Okay. It is a vast difference. The information though is definitely legitimate, but it is definitely, with 50 Cent, 50 Cent, it's a good book, y'all. It's a good book, but, yeah, it's not the most entertaining book or whatever. And when I say entertaining, Will Smith's book is more entertaining or whatever. I definitely I read a lot of business books. I read a lot of leadership books. So listening to listening to 50 Cent's book wasn't a big deal, because a lot of the business and leadership books that I listen to are in the same vein of how 50 Cent was doing his book. But they are night and day in terms of how they are presented, but the information in both of them is very legitimate, very something worthwhile to take from, to try and glean some gems and get some lessons from. So the parallels that I saw between Will Smith and 50 Cent, like I said, they are not only night and day in terms of their, like, the production of their books, but in terms, like, Will Smith is like considered a rapper, he's on TV and he's in movies, and 50 Cent is a rapper, he's on TV and he's in movies. Like, but you definitely wouldn't put them in the same categories. Okay. They are definitely two different types of people, but the parallels that I found from them, which tells me that they are similar in terms of their, their beliefs and their work ethic, is that the biggest thing I took was that they tried to outwork everyone. And both Will and 50 Cent mentioned that in their book. Like, their goal is to outwork anyone else, all of their competition. Like, they are going to get up early and make things happen. They're going to stay up late to make it happen. Their goal is to outwork their competition so that they can be the best that they can be. And I definitely appreciate that. And I feel like more people need to have that kind of mindset. It's like, I want to outwork the next person. Like, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to put in the extra time, the extra effort, so that I can be the best version of me that I possibly can. And both of them emphasize that in their book. So they try to outwork everyone else. The other similarity I found in their book, and we'll go into this one a little bit more too, is that both of them have chosen a lifestyle pretty much of sobriety. Now, none of them are like heavy drinkers. 50 Cent says he doesn't really drink at all, which I found surprising. Consider he has his own liquor and stuff like that. But and Will Smith says like he rarely drinks, like maybe he drinks socially, that kind of thing. But he had also mentioned in his book, like, he doesn't do drugs, or any other substances, and he tries not to, drink often or whatever. That is not one of his vices. And I was curious to see, I wonder how many other successful people have that same mindset when it comes to sobriety and just trying to live a sober lifestyle. So, like I said, both of those books are great. And I was surprised at some of the similarities I saw between the two books, even though the individuals are, vastly different people and everything. All right. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's go ahead and get into some of the takeaways that I had. And let me see. Okay, I do have a comment. What's up, April? Good to see you, girl. She says, hello, all. I'm glad you were able to join. April, I don't know if you were just joining. I was just telling them, well, you probably saw from the description. We will be talking about I Will Teach You to Be Rich, because I know you had mentioned something about that book last week or whatever, but we will be covering that next week or whatever. And tonight we'll just be talking about 50 Cent. All right, so the first takeaway I have, and like I said, my notes are between my paper and on my phone as well, is that 50 Cent has a high amount of self-discipline. He is very, very disciplined. He's disciplined with himself in terms of he has certain routines that he has in place, whether it comes to like him working out, whether it comes to like him sleeping, like I mentioned about sobriety, that kind of thing. He has strict routines that, I won't say strict, but he has certain routines that he follows, and he follows these things, and because he knows when he does things a certain way, he's able to achieve this particular level of success, and it works out for him. So he is very self-disciplined. But he is also disciplined with the people around him. And he shared in his book, like when he went on tour, like he set certain boundaries and guidelines and stuff when it came to like the people who traveled with him, like all the people that was part of like G Unit and stuff like that. Like they had some strict boundaries, like, things, if this was to occur, he was like, you're off the tour. Like he'll send them home and that kind of thing. So it just showed me, like, not only do you have to be disciplined with yourself, but you also have to be disciplined with the people that are around you and in your life. Because if not, sometimes the people who you surround yourself with, if they are not exercising a certain level of discipline, they can easily bring you down and keep you from achieving your success. So that was one of the takeaways, just his level of discipline when it comes to even the small things in life, like waking up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time, eating certain things. You have to be disciplined so that you can make sure that your mind is clear, your body is healthy, that kind of thing, in order to be focused on your goals and be able to physically be able to achieve your goals. And discipline with your friends, families, setting boundaries that you do not allow people to cross, or don't allow people to, what's the word, I guess, violate when it comes to certain things that you believe in, or certain things that you want carried out a certain way. And he said some of these lessons, when it came to his team, he learned from observing other rappers and their interactions with the team and the people that they surrounded themselves with. Because he used in the book, because I don't want to give away the book. I do want y'all to check out the book and read it, whatever. But he used in the book, like one of the rules he has for anybody who travels with him, like they could not get into a fight with one another. Like they could not be beefing with one another. He was like, if they fought somebody else that was outside of G Unit for whatever reason, he was like, I'll bail you out of jail or whatever, but it cannot be any infighting. And he said he learned that lesson from going to a Nas concert where he saw like Nas's team, and they started like he was like, it was too many people, first of all, at the concert in Nas's crew, and they had too much time on their hands, and they started going back and forth with one another, so much so that the authorities got involved, and the concert ultimately got canceled, which meant Nas probably lost a lot of money. So when he saw that, he was like, I can't have foolish people playing, or people doing foolish things that will cause me to foolishly lose my money. So that was one of the reasons why he set certain boundaries for his team and people that travel with him. And if you violated that, he was adamant about it, that you were going to get sent home, because he did not need any infighting. Not only did it he also, like, I don't want to make it seem like he was all about the money. Not only would it mess up the money, but it also messes up the relationship too, when you have that kind of stuff going on, like the internal relationships with the people that you are traveling with as well. So he didn't want, anything lingering, anything to cause someone to not be focused on performing like they're supposed to. So he would just like nip stuff in the bud and get rid of anybody who was causing a problem. So you definitely have to be disciplined. So that was one of the main takeaways I got from that, and set clear boundaries. Now, the second thing I have listed is when he talked about sobriety or his sober lifestyle. Okay. And I guess I was surprised about that, because a lot of the things that he promotes, he has his own liquor, he still like hangs out in the club, and he even says it in the book. He still goes to the club, but he doesn't party like the people who are partying and doing the silly and the dumb stuff or whatever. He'll say that, hey, he'll make it look like he's partying, but really he's not, he's not partaking in the stuff or whatever. Like if he says, like, if he opens a bottle of champagne, he might just, take a sip or whatever, and then he'll have, I guess, one of his handlers or whoever fill up the bottle with ginger ale, so it looks like he's drinking, but he's not actually drinking, which is smart, because it's like you still want to be in the environment, you still want to celebrate with certain people, but at the same time you don't want to get caught up, because y'all done seen people drunk. I mean, what else is there to say? Y'all done seen people who have partied a little bit too hard, did a little bit too much, and then they start doing some dumb stuff that they don't need to be doing, or putting themselves in situations where if they probably were sober, they would not find themselves in. So and that goes back to his level of discipline, and also his self-awareness that we are going to be talking about as a little bit later. Like he knows, like, hey, I don't want to put myself in these types of compromising situations, or these types of situations where it can cause a bad look for me, or cause me just not to be in my right frame of mind to make the right kind of decisions. So yeah, I don't know. I have a high respect for him in terms of that. And like I said, Will Smith also mentioned in his book, like, he doesn't really drink like that. So I know this is Tipsy Tuesday. And I mean, and occasionally we do have a drink, or I have a drink or whatever, but maybe I don't need to, maybe I don't need to partake. But lately y'all haven't seen me drinking water and everything too. Let me see. Okay, I see April has a comment. She says, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of 50 Cent drinking or drunk. No. So, I mean, that's just a testament. Like it's like he knows what gets people. And this is the thing. You can be in the culture, but not of the culture. You can't let the culture consume you, so to speak, or whatever. So he knows that that's what people like to do. They like to have a good time. He knows that people like to buy liquor. I mean, that is like, alcohol is like one of the highest grossing, businesses, and a lot of people are getting into the alcohol business because they know it's a lot of money in it as well. But it's like, it's, what is it? It's like the 10 crack commandments. Like, don't never get high off of your own supply or whatever. So don't get drunk. Even though he might sell the liquor, he not really he ain't drinking the liquor like that. He letting y'all drink the liquor while he sit back and he just count his money while y'all out there acting a fool and singing his songs and all this kind of stuff. He just counting his checks, okay? So yeah, so he lives a sober lifestyle. The third thing I took away from his book, and I have seen this, like I said, Will Smith mentioned this too. I didn't mention it early, but Will Smith mentioned this too, and in some other leadership books and business books that I've read, this keeps coming up as well. And that is like prioritizing rest or prioritizing sleep, like making sure you get a certain amount of sleep each night, and just so that you can be thinking your best, operating at your best, be in the best mood, that kind of thing. So for someone who wrote the song "You Can Find Me in the Club," bottle full of bub, like, he ain't doing none. He's singing about it, he rapping about it, but he ain't doing none of these things because he knows this is not in my best interest for me to be able to achieve different levels of success, or to be able to function and carry out the daily things that are required of me as a businessman. And he talks about, I'm not trying to take away anything from him, but he definitely talks about how everybody knows he came from the streets selling drugs and he became a rapper. But I don't think he gets enough credit with his business savvy, how he is able, he did movies. Now he has, the TV series, the spinoff series. He is very, very creative and very intelligent in terms of the way that he thinks and the goals that he has for himself. And I don't think he gets enough credit for it, just because I think a lot of people will look at him as just a rapper or whatever. And he is much more than that. But I don't think he minds, though, because I think I won't say he wants, I don't think he minds people underestimating him, because, oftentimes when people underestimate you, it's easier to surprise them and shock them with, how smart you are. All right. So he prioritizes sleep. And that is something I definitely need to do. And like I said, this is a reoccurring theme that I see a lot in different business books. This is one that I already mentioned before. He also says, he wants to work harder than anyone else. So that told me, like, you just have to, when it comes to things that you really, really want, average is not gonna cut it. Like, you can't be, and I did a post, you can't be average and amazing at the same time. Like, you just can't. So being average, being mediocre, it's only going to take you so far. It's only going to get you a certain level of success. At the end of the day, you got to be willing to outwork other people who are in your area. You have to be willing to go above and beyond to go after your goals and your dreams. And he is definitely willing to do that. The next thing he has, the fifth thing I have, is that he advises you to create the vision that you want for your life. I was really surprised when he said that he does vision boards. I was like, wow, 50 Cent does vision boards. Like, I never would have thought, because I do vision boards or whatever. Well, honestly, I will say this. I have not really heard of too many guys doing vision boards. I hear a lot of women talk about vision boards. So I think that's why, and I shouldn't, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that. So I was surprised to hear that he believes in vision boards and he does vision boards. And I guess that's how he's able to achieve some of his goals. Like, he has these big, lofty goals, big, lofty dreams, and things that he has put out in his vision board that he wants to be able to achieve. And yeah, he's going after those things. The next thing I have that I took away from him in the book is that he is very passionate. And he talks about if he is not passionate about something, he does not pursue that particular endeavor. Even if he knows it's going to make him a lot of money, it's like he has to have some kind of passion behind it, something that is motivating him, which Makes sense. But I think for me, like I said, I'm not, I know this sounds bad, y'all. It's not like I'm a big 50 Cent fan or anything like that. I've heard his songs or whatever. Never been to his concert. Like, probably if there was a concert, I'm not really going to be interested in going or whatever. So I'm not the biggest 50 Cent fan or whatever. And he kind of comes off to me as, he's kind of like, nonchalant, like he don't really, care too much, which he probably doesn't. He doesn't put too much energy into what other people think about him, but he's just, kind of more laid back. I don't see him as as a passionate person, like versus Will Smith, like, he has a lot of energy and stuff like that, and I can see him passionate. So I didn't really view him in that way. But he says if it's something that he's doing, if it's something that he's invested in, it's because he is passionate about the project that is going on, or whatever the investment is that he's doing, whether it's like the vitamin water or like his power series. He is definitely passionate about whatever he is pursuing. And he advises, like, if you're not passionate about something, don't even waste your time pursuing it or whatever. The next thing I have that I took away from him in his book, and y'all, I'm trying to look at these notes and my notes on the phone, is his resiliency. And he put, and I don't know if this was a direct quote because I was taking notes and stuff as I was reading the book, but it said, he had said, or it was in the book in some kind of phrase or whatever, don't let a loss break you. And that is a big takeaway, because sometimes I always say, when it comes to entrepreneurship, business ownership, that kind of thing, and when you're trying to go after your goals, you're going to fail often. You're going to fail your way to success. And some people, when they have failure, they let that totally discourage them, totally disappoint them, and prevent them from moving forward. So he says, don't let a loss break you, and actually make sure that you are learning from your losses. And I want to say, I even shared, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, like every no, anybody who tells me no, it's just like it's preparing me for my yes. So whatever I lose out on, I just try and take it as a lesson and try and learn from that and keep moving forward. So that's why I said at the beginning, a lot of the things that I took away from his book, it was very affirming to me, because some of these are lessons that I am currently learning or have learned, and it just lets me know that I am going on the right path. Now, am I going to achieve the level of success of 50 Cent? Who's to say? It's not impossible, because I'm sure he probably at one point never imagined he would achieve the level of success that he's achieving, and look where he is today. So, but a lot of these things are just affirming that I am going in the right direction. All right, now the next thing I have, and this is like one of my favorite things that I took away from his book, just because this is one of my favorite aspects of entrepreneurship, is to have self-awareness. You must know yourself. That was like the first entrepreneur trait that I shared with y'all, is like, you have to be highly, highly, highly self-aware. And 50 Cent is very, very, it was clear in his book that he is very self-aware of like his strengths. He's self-aware of his weaknesses. But I will say this, whatever his weaknesses are, he does not let them limit him or anything like that. But he is very self-aware of what he's up against, what he knows, what he doesn't know. And you really like, and he comes off like he has a big ego and stuff like that. But knowing that he is very self-aware tells me, even though he comes off as having a big ego or being very confident or whatever, he's smart and he's savvy with it. Because a lot of people, when they lack self-awareness, they let their ego guide them, and their ego clouds their judgment and how they pursue different things. So you can have an ego, but you need to be self-aware of what your limitations are and what your weaknesses are. Because if you just let your ego lead, it'll have you thinking, you the best thing or whatever. And really that is not the case. So he knows what his limits are. He knows what his limitations are, and he plays to his strengths, and whatever his weaknesses are, he tries to accommodate for them so that he can still come out on top. So I definitely appreciated that about him. Just his self-awareness, because that wasn't, something that I would have readily picked up from him, just unless I had read his book. And then the next thing, the ninth thing I have, and I have 13 things, y'all, just so y'all know, is in the takeaway I got next was to be forward thinking. And he says, don't allow your past to cloud your vision of the future. And that kind of goes back to having that resiliency and learning from your losses. You just have to be very forward thinking. You have to not let any past disappointments discourage you from your future pursuits. Learn from those, from any failures you had, any losses that you have, and then just adjust from there. Figure out, what do I need to do differently? What should I have done that could have made me more successful in the next time around? Make sure you're doing those things, okay? But you can't just get caught up in, oh my gosh, this did not work out, and now I don't want to do anything, or I don't want to pursue this, or I'm never going to be successful. You can't have that particular mindset at all. That is just clouding your future. You need to learn from those losses, see what you need to take away from it, and start moving towards success again. So don't let your past cloud your vision of the future. And the next thing, the 10th thing that I have, I'm just making sure I don't have any more comments. The 10th thing I have is, you need to know your position and know your worth. And this goes back to his self-awareness. And I bring this up because he talked about this, and I don't think he put it in that kind of way, like know your position, know your worth. Maybe, I don't think he did. But he talked about this when he was talking about when he first started Power. He took a lower salary on Power per episode or whatever that first season. The reason why he said is because he knew he needed to get his foot in the door. And once he got his foot in the door, he knew he was going to blow it, kick it wide open or whatever. But he knew that the particular network was taking a chance on him by having a show. So he was, once again, like I said, he comes off as having a big ego. But he knew, I can't come in here with my big ego like I'm a multi-million-dollar rapper who, makes all this money. I should be getting more per episode. He knew he couldn't come in like that. He knew he had to be humble in this particular situation and say, okay, I'm willing to, take this lesser amount because I know what I have to offer. And once they see what I have to offer, then I'm going to be able to garner even more money. And sometimes that is how it is in business. Sometimes everybody does not see your value. Everybody does not see your worth. And sometimes you might have to do some things, I won't say for free or at a discounted rate or whatever. But if you do that, I always say, if you do that, you need to know what the end goal is going to be on the back end. Like, we're not just doing stuff for free. We're not just doing stuff discounted just so we can get the business or just to be able to sell product. Y'all should know by now, if y'all watched any of like my marketing videos or anything where I talk about business, like if I do something for free, yes, I'm giving away a free product or whatever, but I got like at least 2 or 3 different strategies on the back end of how I'm going to parlay that free item that I gave you or sold or, gave away into something else. Like, I'm not just doing something for free just to give it away for free. There is another objective associated with it. And that is pretty much what he did. He was like, I'll take this lesser salary because I know what I have. I know that this is going to be a success. And I don't have it in my notes, but it brings to mind as I'm talking, it brings to mind one of the other entrepreneur traits that I mentioned is being self-assured. Like you have to be so assured of yourself, so sure of yourself, and know the value that you bring, that even if whatever happens, like, hey, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to knock it out the park, and they are going to appreciate what I bring to the table. So you have to be so self-assured in your product, in your service, in whatever you offer, that hey, I'm willing to do this for a discounted rate this time. But today's price is not going to, today's price was not yesterday's price or whatever. Things are going to go up. So that's what he did with Power. And then it just goes to show too, he is so strategic, y'all. Like I said, nothing's more attractive on a man than some intelligence. Okay. I was like, okay, 50. he was giving, okay. He was making chess moves, not checkers. So his vision is like so many steps ahead or whatever, like going back to his forward thinking, like he is so many steps ahead. He's like, okay, this is just the move I need to make, but in the end, these other 2 to 3 moves I'm going to make, this is really going to knock him out the park or whatever. So he's making chess moves and not checkers. But you need to know your position and know your worth in order to do that, because he also talks about in his book people who like demanded a certain amount of money on the front end, and it kind of messed up relationships, and they ended up losing money because they were not making the chess moves. They were just making small moves and not being strategic in the moves so that they can make long-term money. Like, yeah, you want this quote unquote big sum of money up front, but if you would have just played the game and took a lesser amount here, you would have made, 5 times, 10 times of what you're asking for right now if you just played the game like you were supposed to. So don't get caught up so much in somebody like not giving you what you think. If you know you can parlay it into something in the future. This also goes to show, in terms of that, you also have to know the people who you're dealing with and what value they can bring to you as well. So if you don't know the value that they can bring, if all you're seeing is that, hey, they can give me $10,000 and they only want to give me $5,000, and you're like, I'm going to demand the $10,000 from them because that is what I'm worth, you might be missing the picture, because they might give you $5,000 here, but the partnerships you make, the networking opportunities you have from being in connection with these people can lead to other clients or other ways for you to make money. So, and that's what I say. Anything that I do, I leverage it. Like, I'm not ever doing anything for one singular reason. I'm always having multiple reasons to do it. If I'm doing something for one singular reason, I shouldn't be doing it. Okay. That's just kind of like my philosophy. Like, if I'm only going to get one benefit out of doing this particular thing, then it's probably not worthwhile. And that's like the example I said, if all you're trying to do is get $10,000, like if that's the only reason you're doing it or whatever, no, that's not enough. Like, even if you do get $10,000, like, I need to see who can I connect with, or being able to negotiate. So let's say if I am getting a lower fee, so, and I'm, with me being an independent contractor, sometimes I've had to negotiate different things before. Like, if I am getting a lower fee, I'm going to negotiate something else. Okay, I'll take this lower fee, but I would like to have X, Y, and Z as well, since I am taking this particular lower fee or whatever. Or I need to be able to, meet so-and-so or have this particular connection, that kind of thing. So you're always leveraging stuff. You're always negotiating stuff. And if you are an entrepreneur and business owner and you are not comfortable with negotiating or trying to leverage stuff, definitely negotiating, because you need to talk and get what you want or whatever as well. And I'm not talking about talking just to get more money, but just making things more opportune for you. So just know that. Know your position and know your worth. That was the number 10 thing. And let me see. And let me see how I'm doing on time. All right. So, and I see April has a question. I'm doing pretty good on time because we only got 3 more things to cover. April says, like lost leaders and like lost leaders in the supermarket. You get something for free, but once you in the door, you're going to buy more. I like that. I like that. Did you mean for that to rhyme? Because I like it the way it rhymes. Yeah. Once you in the door, you're going to buy some more. Yes. And and here's the thing. People do this to us all the time. I've talked to y'all before about marketing when it comes to like marketing your business. Like you need to know the strategies, the techniques that people are using to get your money. And if you are aware of the strategies and techniques that people are using to get your money, when you have your own business, you can use those same strategies to get the money of other people. Okay. So yeah. So what April is saying is, yes, people will advertise stuff at a very, very low price to get you in the door. And then basically it is for you to start looking at the other stuff that they have to offer. And so, yeah, they might have sold this product that was normally $50 and they're selling it for $10. But because you, and then also, this is the other thing, but because you got it for $10, you're going to look and see what else do they have. But the other thing that happens too is because already you're thinking in your mind, this product is $50. This is what they joke about and say this is girl math or whatever. So this product is $50. I'm only paying $10 for it. Guess what? That means I got $40 that I can spend in the store because I saved those $40 or whatever. That's that girl math. But that's how, and that it's not just girl math, because a lot of people, even guys, think that way too. Like, well, I save money on this, so now that means I can spend some money over here or whatever. And that's just the psychology of like selling, and they know people will do that. So you have to be strategic when it comes to marketing your business, as well as marketing yourself and knowing your worth as well. If you are trying to make certain connections and inroads in the business. All right. So the next thing I have for him that I took away from his book is his accountability. He says you need to own up to your mistakes. And y'all know, if y'all saw any of the entrepreneur videos, I've had self-accountability as one of the character's traits. So if you make a mistake, own up to it. And I think that is something, once again, it shows that he is very self-aware and he doesn't have a big ego. Like he understands, I made a mistake. I'm going to own up to it. One thing I cannot stand is somebody who makes a mistake and acts like they ain't do it. Like, please, do I look like Boo Boo the Fool? Okay. Own up to your mistakes. Apologize for it, so that we can make it right. All right. Don't just try and pretend like you did not do something wrong, or that you didn't do what I asked you not to do. Okay. I can't stand when people do that at all. And it irritates me so much. So own up to your mistake. And because also when you don't own up to your mistake, to me, because I've seen this happen like at my office and stuff like that, when you don't own up to your mistake, it kind of it makes me think that it's not a big deal, or you don't think it's a big deal, which also, if you don't think it's a big deal, tells me that you can possibly let it happen again. Okay. Which we can't have you repeatedly making mistakes and the same mistake over and over. Like that's not gonna fly. Definitely not in the workplace or whatever. So own up to your mistake and address it and say, learn from it so you can see what I need to do to be better. So that is the accountability piece. Be self-accountable. All right. And then he also mentions for number 12 is to surround yourself with people with diverse thoughts and opinions. And I love this one too, because the part of the reason I read different books is because I want to see other people's perspective. I want to see other people's way of thinking, that kind of thing, see how they process information. I love think I've shared with y'all. I love watching like the History Channel, like the companies that build America, the food that built America, all that kind of stuff. Like I love seeing, you know, the things that went through people's minds and how they created stuff and how they built stuff and how they came up with different ideas, because it shows me a new way of thinking, a different way of thinking that I might not have ever considered, because my way of thinking is not, you know, it's not always the right way. It's not always the best way. So I want to see what are other people's thoughts about it. How did other people handle this particular situation? So I love seeing that and just getting a different perspective, because that doesn't, you know, my perspective might not be the correct perspective, because my perspective is from the things that I've experienced. Let me hear your perspective from the way that you've experienced life or the things that you've gone through in life. Like I would like to hear that, just so I can have a more diverse opinion about different things. Yeah, I think sometimes we get so caught up on trying to be right that we don't listen to other people's ideas and their thoughts and things. So he tries to surround himself with people who are diverse, with diverse thoughts and opinions. And he was just talking about different people he now associates with, like people he would have never thought to hang out with, and he is able to appreciate that. And also just listening to different people who have helped change his perspective about certain situations and things like that. Let me see really quick. Thank you, April, for commenting as well. I really appreciate it. April said, I didn't even realize they rhyme. I was like, I like that, because once you get in the dough, you're gonna get some more. And April's talking about love girl math. And lastly, they have too much ego to admit they was wrong. Yeah, yes, that's the thing. Thank you for pointing that out, April, too. Yes, which also ties back in. You don't really, when you are self-aware, you really don't have an ego. Like you really don't have an ego when you're self-aware. Also, when you're self-aware, no one can really like tell you about yourself. And what I mean by that is like, you know how people will say stuff to you and they might say stuff that's mean or catty, or, you know, they just trying to be rude or whatever. But when you tell me something about me that I already know, it doesn't cut me. It doesn't cut me. Like, I already know I'm like that. Yeah. And what? It's like somebody, this isn't the best example, but it's like somebody telling me I'm pretty. Like, yeah, I already know I'm pretty. Okay. So that doesn't hurt me or whatever. Or somebody telling me, hey, you talk a lot. Like, I already know I talk a lot. Like, it doesn't hurt me. Like, you're trying to hurt me, but it doesn't hurt me because I'm already well aware of my strengths and my weaknesses. Like, yeah, I'm working on that. You know, thank you for noticing. But I've noticed that about myself for a while. Okay. So what you're trying to do to hurt me is not really hurting me, because I'm already aware of it and I'm working on it. Okay. So yeah, you can't let your ego get in the way. And that's why some people with big egos, when you tell them about themselves or you say something, they get so upset because they not even aware that they're like that. Okay. All right. The last and final thing that I have, the takeaway that I had from his book is 50 Cent has some great marketing strategies. Now, I will say this. I probably wouldn't use the marketing strategies that he uses, but they work pretty doggone good. So, like I said, 50 Cent is often known for, I won't say often known, but he gets into like little beefs and like back and forth with different people and, you know, making comments and that kind of thing. Y'all, this dude is doing this on purpose. Y'all, this is part of his marketing strategy. Like, he'll go back and forth with people or say stuff about people on purpose, like to bring attention to whatever he has going on or whatever he's promoting. Oh, there's one, because y'all, I'm trying to look. I got to make sure I mention this. Let me find it. It's in my phone notes, but it wasn't on this paper. I got to make sure I mention this. But yeah, so I don't think I would do it because I don't really want to create negativity between people or whatever. Even though I will say this, if he's saying something bad about the person, they're really probably friends on the back end, and the person probably already knows that he's saying this, he's going to say this stuff about him. It's just to draw up attention, to help promote whatever he has going on and that kind of thing. But really on the back end, they cool, y'all. They cool while we going back and forth and getting upset with this person, and like now we don't like them, or we don't like 50 Cent, or we don't like the other person he's beefing with, whatever. He done orchestrated all of this. All of this. He's orchestrated all of this as a marketing strategy. Okay. This is just marketing for him. And they cool on the back end as they count their coins as from this different beef or whatever. He even said he even has someone on his team that acts like a troll to like post stuff to cause drama or issues and stuff like that, so that it can highlight a certain aspect of whatever he might have going on. Like if say Power is about to come out or whatever, somebody might say something, he might have a troll who will say something about Power or whatever, so that now people can be like, oh, look at this comment that they said about Power or whatever. So y'all, the beef has been orchestrated. So y'all don't get too caught up in the beef. Like, mind the business that pays you and pay other business no mind, because they are definitely making coins off of the controversy. All right, pretty much they are making coins off of the controversy, and he realizes that controversy does cause him to make money. Okay, so the beef ain't real. It's not for real. Probably large majority of the time, it has been pre-planned, premeditated, and pre-orchestrated so that he can keep going to the bank. All right. So, like I said, his business savvy, y'all. The business savvy, and he don't mind y'all talking about him and thinking whatever he wants, whatever y'all want about him. Because once again, it goes back to that self-awareness. He already knows who he is. Okay. He already is very well aware of who he is. So your comments really don't bother him at all. Okay. It doesn't bother him. He's making money while you're sitting home and going to your 9-to-5 job. And he is traveling all over the world, in the country, and on tour and all this kind of stuff. He don't care. He does not care. Okay. He is orchestrating this stuff. So y'all don't get too caught up. He is a marketing genius. And I will say some of that drama and stuff like that, I don't know if, like I said, he's doing it on purpose, but I don't know if he is also doing it on purpose for people to underestimate his like business savvy, because he is very, very, very business savvy. Like, reading his book, I realized that, like, the things that he had to think up, the way he has calculated and laid out, his success, you have to have an extreme level of intelligence in order to be able to do that. Okay. And his is pretty top tier, I would have to say. Like I said, I knew he was a good businessman, but I'm like, okay, I slept on you a little bit. All right. You definitely better than I thought. So don't get too caught up. Don't get too caught up in the beef. It's part of his marketing strategy. And there's always going to be people who fall for it. Just like there's always going to be people in the club wanting to get turned up, and they're going to be buying his liquor and having a good old time. And he just going to be counting his coin while you causing controversy. Okay. He going to be counting his coin. Yeah, he's an amazing businessman. Okay. Let me see. That was pretty much all I had, but I see I have comments from April. All right. April says, hold on. I'm about to choke. All right. April says, and then when you don't speak, they want to know what's wrong. They got an issue when you got with you, and got an issue when you change. Are you talking about the people who don't like you? Like Blueface and baby number 1, baby number 2, and all them side chicks. It's all promotion and marketing. Yes, y'all, stop getting caught up. Stop getting caught up, because there's always going to be somebody who gets caught up. Okay, and they're relying on that for people to get caught up. because it just, it's keeping them relevant. It's keeping them making money and everything, y'all. But it's orchestrated. They have us figured out. They have us figured out. And like I said, when it comes to marketing, these marketing, like, now this is a different type of marketing, I will say. But when you see something working, you keep doing the same thing. Like if you see this is working and this is causing you to make money, you're going to keep doing the same thing. But businesses, companies, and that kind of thing, they have studied our habits to a T. They know what gets us riled up. They know what causes us to spend money. They know what excites us, all that kind of stuff. They have done so much research into human behavior because they know it's what helps to affect their bottom line. Baby, I knew what you meant though, April. I think we still got it, but you good. So yes, so I highly recommend y'all check out the book by 50 Cent, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And so you can get the full picture. Because like I said, I can't, because the book, I don't know, I think it was like 8 hours. I don't know, 8 hours long in terms of if you listen to it on Audible or audiobook or whatever. So I can't give you the whole thing in an hour or whatever. Excuse me. These are just some of my highlights that I took away from it. And like I said, if you can go to InvestFest where you can see him in person, share some of his tips, definitely. But if you are an entrepreneur, well, I say if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, but even if you're not that, if you're just trying to get ahead in life, there are tips and takeaways that you can glean from this book that will be beneficial to you. So I highly recommend to check it out. You might want to read it first before you read Will Smith's book, because if you do it the reverse, you might not get through 50 Cent. But read his book first and then check out Will Smith or whatever. But both books are awesome and have great advice. And like I said, I am definitely more appreciative of him as a businessman. And I am looking forward to his future business endeavors and what he has to come, and seeing him achieve continued success, because I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, honestly, y'all, I think this is like only like the beginning. Like I think he is just hitting his stride and just getting good. And yeah, it's really like no limit to what he is going to be able to achieve and everything. This is only the beginning. So stay tuned to see what 50 Cent has to offer. All right. Until next time, everyone, take care.